Hi, Nick and David. It's Peter Saunders here, reporting for duty, about to start my final assignment recording. The first section is to discuss the tool that I have found of greatest benefit from your tutorials, and I think I have plumped for Google Docs. Google Drive, that is. So I found particularly useful Google Docs and the division of the Google Doc into sections, one for each student, through the use of tables and commenting. In the past, I have used Google Docs and I have added my own edits using the suggest key. But I've always found it difficult when getting students to put their own submissions up there, dividing one student's submission from another. And so that I think is something that has been helpful. And then I've also recently pursued an interest in Google Forms. And that's something I'd like to share with you in this first video. So I'm going to go over to my, let me just see if I can share that. There we go. And so I'm hoping now that you can see my desktop, and I've got this Google form that I've set up and used in the past, sharing it with an entire class, and students have been engaged in competitive debates. So they're in groups of 3. And the beauty of Google Forms is that you click here and then you get the results after students have voted for the winning member of each trio. So if you've got a group of, got 3 students, you've got 1 member who is just listening in, and the other 2 competitively debating. Maybe what I should do is just switch over to my PowerPoint to show you how I set it up. And I'm going to just check here that I've got browsed my individual window selected here, so that if I now go into view mode, completely occupy the whole window. So it's a sort of flipped activity where the lesson before, I get students to choose their role. Are they John, Mary, or David? And if they're John, then for the first debate, they are going to be listening in and eventually deciding. The second debate, they will be arguing in favour, and then for the final one, they'll be arguing against. And here you can see that I've used a QR code so that students can just easily make use of their mobile phones to visit the site. I have used this in China, and that accounts for the link here that you can see to this Chinese equivalent of Google Forms. Let me just switch over here and I can show it to you. So here is where students would vote. So this is the page that students would see, and here is the software with me with the car bonnet open and creating my questionnaires inside. It's actually all Chinese that I think the browser has translated. You see if I click here, and every time I click, it's translating into English. And I found it quite an intuitive site and really very handy for setting up these questionnaires. But as I say, it's Google Forms that I would make use of in the UK. I wouldn't bother with QR codes. I think they are a bit of a bother for students. It's much more convenient. Just click on share. Sorry, not share, send. You click on send and send them an email. You email the form. Then on their phones, as long as the Wi-Fi is working and you don't have to wait too long for the email to get through, they find the email right at the top of their inbox, and then they can vote for whoever they think has won the debate. Whereas with QR codes, it can take, there are always one or two who have difficulty. I suppose it's less and less the case as people become more and more familiar with QR codes, but I found it takes up a bit too much time. Right, and then there was another tool that I have pursued an interest in recently, and that's Sketch Engine.